Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk specifically about Dungeons and Dragons, the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and what percentage chance does the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which will come out most likely in 2022, so the 2022 Dungeons and Dragons movie, what percentage chance does the 2022 Dungeons and Dragons movie have of being a good movie? Okay, now. First of all, I'm going to say flat out, I don't think that the 2000 Dungeons & Dragons movie was good, okay? Didn't make a lot of money, it didn't make critics happy, and it didn't make audiences happy, right? So if a movie doesn't make a ton of money, doesn't make the critics happy, and doesn't make the audience happy, how are you going to count it as good, right? So it really wasn't, 2000 D&D movie wasn't good. All right, so let's start here. So what percentage chance does the Dungeons & Dragons movie start out with of being a good movie? Well, unfortunately, that's 0%. So I'm gonna explain why that is. So first of all, if this movie was being made by Dungeons and Dragons, if this movie was being made by Disney, it would start out with a 50% chance of being good, and that's from a track record. Basically, Dungeons and Dragons is a large-scale, high-prominence intellectual property. Okay, how many times has a large-scale, high-prominence film been given to a non-Disney studio, and it's been a good movie? Like creating and being a good movie is like, if it's a good movie, we'll get a series. That is not easy to do. Okay, in fact, the only example of this that I can think of where there is a series that came out of the initial film for a large-scale, high-prominence intellectual property is the Harry Potter films. That went to Warner Brothers, and it actually was incredibly successful, okay? But that was well over a decade ago. I think that's probably over 15. I think it's like 20 years old, right? So current, now, today, if you're not Disney and you get a large-scale, high-prominence intellectual property, the odds of you doing what's necessary to make that into a good film is slim to none, okay? But there is a chance. So let's start. So what is the path to making a good movie if you're not Disney? All right, and then we're gonna break that down, and we're gonna give percentages to I think it's Paramount that's making that is currently making this Dungeons and Dragons film. So let's go. All right. So first and foremost, money. You need real money. You need $100 million. Okay. This movie has real money. It has real funding, and if they don't have $100 million right now, they can certainly get it. Right. I'm almost positive they're starting this with at least 50 to 75 million, and they can scrape up another 25 or whatever they need. This Dungeons and Dragons, because it is a large-scale, high-prominence intellectual property, they could get the money. 5%. We're now at 5% of having a good movie. There you go. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is Kevin Feige, okay? Kevin Feige has completely transformed how all movies in the world work, okay? So if you have a Kevin Feige, you have an incredible percentage chance of making a good movie. So what is Kevin Feige? We're going to break him down into his attributes and give 5% per. So in order for this movie to be good, you don't need, well, of course, cloning isn't here yet, right? So we need a person who is like Kevin Feige, right? So this person could be anyone, okay? It could be any gender, any preference, any national culture. It could be anybody, right? As long as they have the attributes that Kevin Feige has. Now, what is Kevin Feige? Okay, so Kevin Feige was an empowered. It means he was given power by the organization. He had real power, right? One of the powers that Kevin Feige had to make the 25 amazing films that made up the MCU and created a level of success that was so impressive that it'll probably stand for the next 25 to 50 years. People will be trying to copy what Feige did, right? So he was empowered. One of the things he did, he's like, the Marvel movies are Marvel movies, and I don't want to deal with any of that television nonsense. I'm not bringing any of those actors over. I don't want the television productions to touch my stuff at all. That he was empowered. He was given power, right? So he was an empowered. He was an empowered central. Everything went through him, right? He was an empowered central, persistent creator, right? That had persistent means he stayed in place for all of the movies, right? He didn't just do the first one and then was gone, right? Persistent. He was empowered, central, persistent, and in addition to that, he also had an understanding of the source material. Kevin Feige genuinely understood the comic books. He understood what they were about. He understood how they were created. He understood their history. He understood their community. He understood the source material, okay? Second, not only did he understand the source material, he had an appreciation for the source material, okay? And those are separate. You can understand what something is and still not appreciate it, right? You can be like, okay, I understand dill pickles, but I don't like them, right? Like, so he had all of that. He was a empowered, central, persistent creator, okay? That's 3 attributes, who had a genuine understanding and a genuine appreciation. That's 5 separate attributes. What are the odds that the Dungeons & Dragons movie is going to get a empowered, central, persistent creator who understands Dungeons & Dragons and appreciates Dungeons & Dragons? I'll tell you right now. Empowered, I doubt it. Central, I doubt it. Persistent, I doubt it. Understanding Dungeons & Dragons, there's almost no possibility. And appreciation for it. So, out of those 5 attributes, I don't think the creator of Dungeons & Dragons will, the central, like, the key mover, right? Not the director, the key mover. I don't think that person is going to have any of the attributes of Kevin Feige. It's really rough. Okay, so is there anywhere else we can get some percentage points, right? Casting, all right? If this is cast well, it won't matter that there are going to be problems in... by the way, with a Kevin Feige, you would get the right director and you would get the right writer. That's why that's so key. And I'm not even going to list the right writer and the right director, right? Because everything the director does and everything the writer does can easily be undone by that empowered, central, persistent key mover, right? Who understands and appreciates the property. And since there won't be one, a lot of the work from the director and the writer can be undone. However, the cast is different. Movie stars are real still, okay? Like, Tom Cruise drops into a movie, people are going to go see it, period, done. End of sentence. A lot of people, okay? You can make hundreds of millions of dollars just on Tom Cruise's face alone, right? People show up for him. It's a fact, right? So, is this going to be cast right? Yes, I think we're going to get 5% more from casting, okay? Hugh Grant, he's a real actor, right? This movie, they cast they cast a young lady from It and It 2. I've seen her material. She's very, very good. She hasn't done enough work where I remember her name yet. Apologies. But she's an excellent actress. I think she's going to tell a compelling story, and I think it's going to go well with her in position, okay? So I think the casting on this is starting in a very good direction. And I think we have the cast we need to make this exciting and good. And that's excellent. That is a really important aspect. 5% added for having good casting, okay? So basically we got 5% because they're spending the right amount of money. We got 5% because this movie is being cast well, okay? Is there anything else that can make this movie really do well? And the answer is yes. There's a couple other things that can make this movie really shine and really perform, okay? So what are they? I will give them to you. So the next thing that can be done to make this movie really shine and really perform is that it does well in the movies, that it is received well, domestically and internationally. Okay, the odds of that are very, very low. Not because of anything that Dungeons and Dragons is doing, that Wizards of the Coast is doing, or Hasbro Gaming is doing, or Paramount is doing. I'm pretty sure Paramount is the studio creating this. It's not anything they're doing or not doing. It's simply the fact that there's no guarantee, literally zero guarantee, that there will be any movie theaters for this film to even release in. There is a very distinct possibility that everything that's happening with Dungeons and Dragons will turn into Tears and Flames, and it'll be released on stream, right? Stream releases are junk. No series has ever been released on a streamer, right? Star Wars wasn't a streamer. Harry Potter wasn't a streamer. The Marvel Cinematic Universe wasn't a streamer. There are no successful series that have been launched from streams, except Stranger Things. Stranger Things is huge. It has the prominence. It actually has the acceptance that you would get from an actual that is real. That is very real. So I think you could. That is very genuine. And the reality is, even if there are movies to returning to the movie theaters at that time to actually release your film, who's going to show up? So you get 0 and 0 there. So the reality is, at the end of the day, there's about a 10% chance that the Dungeons & Dragons movie will be good, and a 90% chance we're looking at 2000 D&D again. That's my opinion. Am I wrong? I'd love to hear your thoughts. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't have a better answer for you. I know that's a little depressing. That's the reality of it. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think is the percentage chance that the Dungeons & Dragons movies will be good? Were there any attributes I missed? Was there anything I could get points on that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.